Patriots first. Oh, hi. We're going.
I might have to turn off these lights because this
Yeah,
blurriness is a problem.
it
And I don't even
really
know if it's that. I don't
it's
even
no,
know
I
if
think
it's the
that's I
lights.
think it's what it is. I think it's the lights in the background. It really wants to zone in.
Really?
It's very Christmas yeah,
Okay, I'm gonna turn them off because I don't know
StreamYard
what
is really Christmassy today. You guys, if you haven't already, you need to go to 4patriots.com/checks and see this week's discounts and deals before they're gone because 4Patriots has some awesome stuff. And I don't know if I've told you lately, but you in danger, girl.
I know now's
There's
the
a
time
lot.
to prep,
There's
man.
a lot going on.
Woo!
Yeah, there's a whole lot going on in the world. You can never be too safe or too prepared. We have some stuff, a couple things here and there just to be prepared. I feel like if the crap hits the fan, Mock will definitely come to my house or try to make her way to my house in
Yeah,
her
as long
little
as there's not Teslas in the way.
Mad Max Porsche, you know, in her pigtails with her AR. And then she'll come and bring her 4Patriots food to my house because you got to bring something. You got to bring a skill or some food.
I'll
to
bring
my
I'll
ranch.
bring 4 Patriots food and guns.
That's ammo. We don't need guns. We need ammo. So
Okay, I'll try to pick some of that up as well.
just a pro tip. Just a pro tip. But anyways, do that. Go to 4patriots.com/chicks and you can see all the cool stuff that they have.
And free shipping on orders over $97.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Also, you should subscribe to this podcast if you haven't done that already. Put us right there in our pocket, in your pocket or your fanny pack. Or your little like crossbody Lululemon thing you got going on there, which all the kids are wearing these days. I have a teenager. I know about that. So do that.
Do it. And buckle in because I think it's going to be a longish show today because there is so much going on. For example, in the top news stories of the day, Oprah has admitted to taking drugs to lose the weight.
What? This is my shocked face.
I know.
Like I said that the other day, I was like, I don't believe her.
You were like, Ozempic.
Now it's Oprah
is a liar.
Yeah, she is a liar.
I mean, whatever. If you're going to take it, then take it. Don't try to pretend that you're not. Just take it and then say it. Whatever.
Considering the fact that she is a representative for Weight Watchers.
That doesn't make Weight Watchers look so good.
Kind of crappy of her, just say the things.
And now she's saying it like loudly and proudly. So,
and she also says she takes it recreationally. Like she doesn't take it all the time.
That's what I read. You could do that. That's a thing.
I feel like that's not really what you're supposed to do, but I mean, I don't know. I don't take it. So she said she takes it just once in a while to keep her like in check. And I don't believe that either. I thought
it was like, I didn't even think it was a daily thing. Isn't it like a shot that you have to do?
I think
I don't
so.
know. However many times a month.
Like I said, I don't believe anything that comes out of her pie hole. And when I say pie hole, I mean pie hole. I don't believe.
Well, I mean, I guess, better late than never for her to say the things.
It's up in the cabinet. Look in the cabinet. I'm sorry. I'm going to show. He needed something medical. I'm so sorry, you guys. So sorry.
Is everything okay?
Everything's fine. We're fine. Good Lord. Oh my God. So sorry. I have no concern for the fact that I actually have a job and I'm on a show. Anyways.
That was awesome. Okay, so that obviously the biggest story of the day. I mean, you just don't get bigger than Oprah taking Ozempic. It just does not get bigger than that. But I mean, I guess if you're looking for other news, the House did vote to formalize the impeachment inquiry. So, I mean, under the things of importance, we've got Oprah. And then way down here, we've got this whole impeachment inquiry. And the only thing that does, I mean, it's not the only thing that it does, but it's good news in that James Comer, Jim Jordan, the rest of the committee, now when they subpoena bank records, mortgage statements, tax records from the Biden family, now they've got the vote behind them and the power of the subpoena behind the actual vote. And so now it's going to be very, very difficult for anybody to stop them from getting those records that they're asking for. But as you and I were talking about before we went live, it's like, I don't know that this is a good idea that we should be impeaching Biden, because we want Biden to be the guy that runs, right?
Yeah.
And so if he's not the guy and like he's impeached and then Kamala is the person, that is when Gavin Newsom is going to step in and be like, Kamala's not good enough. Here I come to save the day.
Right.
And that's not good for anybody.
Kind of what we predicted, to begin with. But then also on top of that, I just kind of wish that they would start getting some actual work done. Like maybe close the border. That would be a top priority for me. Close the border, handle some of that stuff. Cause I feel like, we're bleeding right now and we could use a tourniquet at this point and they're not doing, and we're still bleeding. And then they're like, oh, it's like follow this shiny object and follow that side. I get it. Like that's a thing we want to do. We want to, punish some of these people for their wrongdoings. I get that we want to do that, but it's just not on the top of my priority list to be doing this stuff. My priority is the border.
Yeah.
Your priorities
takes care of so many other problems.
Yeah. It's a domino effect. It will take care of a lot of economic problems, a lot of crime problems. It's like, close the border. Like, can we just focus? I just feel like they're not listening to their constituents. They're not listening to the American people. And, like I saw an article today on the Daily Mail there's little elementary school kids getting fentanyl in their schools, like one in Virginia. These are tiny, tiny kids, you guys. It's like, what are we doing? This is a huge problem. Biggest killer, 18 to 44. I feel like that would be something that they'd want to do first, but we're not.
You would think.
We're not focusing.
Well, we've got this very, very important impeachment thing to get through. And now that the House voted to do it formally, now it's gangbusters. And I just don't, it's like one of those things where, it's the dog chasing the car. And then once you have the car, then what?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Are we prepared for the consequences of these actions?
Listen, I'm not saying that we shouldn't do it. I'm just saying that that's not the first thing that I would have done.
Yeah. Also, you guys, I have to share my screen because I know we've told you about the Cozy Earth sheets before, and these are specifically the bamboo viscose sheets from Cozy Earth. I need you to see them on a bed. Do you see, like, does that picture just scream softness to you? Because it does to me. Like, that is some serious softness.
Yeah.
That looks like a luxury bed right there.
I could probably relax on that.
Oh my gosh. These sheets are just amazing. Now, these are a high-end luxury item. So if you're looking for a high-end luxury item to gift someone or to gift yourself, this is it. And now they have these beautiful colors. You can see those on your screen as well. These sort of earth-toned, understated, just gorgeous colors. Like, I am in love with the sage green.
Yeah,
in
that's your
love
jam.
with it. Gosh, it's so pretty. Just gorgeous. And they're soft, so soft. And what's awesome about them is that they get softer with each wash, if you can believe it. I mean, they come to you like in this amazing bag. Like, I'll show you the bag too. They come to you in this beautiful bag and they come so soft. Like, you take them out of the bag and you're like, holy cow, these are super soft. But then the more you wash them, somehow the softer they get, and they continue to be temperature regulating, which is amazing. They are incredible sheets, and they have this amazing money back guarantee. So you've got 100 nights to try them and completely fall in love, which they know you will. Or you can get all your money back. And the way to do that is to visit CozyEarth.com. Use promo code CHICKS40, CHICKS40 for 40%
It's a lot.
off.
That's a lot.
It's a big old discount just in time for the holidays.
Yeah.
So it's CozyEarth.com, and then use that promo code CHICKS40 to get your sheets. And you're going to love them. I mean, you just will. You can't not love them, is what I'm trying to say.
Stuart,
Why are you laughing?
Stuart the Brit is asking why we're not matching today, but in fact, we actually are matching today.
Yeah, and we're going to talk to you about that later. We're going to talk to you about our matchiness. Have we been fighting?
Yes, we're so mad at each other.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so cozyearth.com, check them out because they are truly amazing sheets. Also, before we get to videos, and because we got to show a couple of the Hunter videos from yesterday. What a
my
clown
God, that guy
is.
is such a tool.
I forgot to mention that Claudine Gay, the Harvard president, she's so busy right now in like damage control mode that she attended a menorah lighting, you guys.
Oh my God. She's like, virtue signal. And she's like, okay. Like she would have never done that before. You know?
Of course she wouldn't. Of course she wouldn't.
She's like, what's a menorah? What is a menorah? What is that?
Should we call the fire department?
Right. It's like fire.
Anyway, props to her for trying, I guess, but wow. Yeah. All right. So Hunter, as you know, was supposed to show up for his deposition yesterday on Capitol Hill, and he did not exactly show up for his deposition. Instead, he showed up at the Senate building, outside the Senate building, to have his own little press conference. And it was just the most self-indulgent thing that he could have done. Here's a couple of clips of him talking about how shameless Congress is for daring to want to depose him. Here he is.
For 6 years, MAGA Republicans, including members of the House committees who are in a closed-door session right now, have impugned my character, invaded my privacy, attacked my wife, my children, my family, and my friends. They have ridiculed my struggle with addiction. They've belittled my recovery. And they have tried to dehumanize me, all to embarrass and damage my father, who has devoted his entire public life to service. There is no fairness or decency in what these Republicans are doing. They have lied over and over about every aspect of my personal and professional life. So much so that their lies have become the false facts believed by too many people.
Okay.
No matter how many times it is debunked, they continue to insist that my father's support of Ukraine against Russia is the result of a non-existent bribe. They displayed naked photos of me during an oversight hearing.
Because they exist.
And they have taken the light of my dad's love.
The light of his love.
The light of my dad's love for me and presented it as darkness.
Oh my God.
They have no shame.
First of all, he needs a speech therapist because of the fake teeth from all of his teeth falling out because of drugs.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Second thing, we had a whole discussion about how he sounds just like his father.
Oh my gosh.
You know,
there's no question about paternity there.
Yeah, because Mock has two sons. Mock has two sons, and her son Jackson. I'm like, does he sound like is he starting to, because he's getting up there in age, and like, is he starting to sound like your husband? Because our son, who is 30 now, literally he's just like my husband, and he's starting to be just like and it's eerie how they do that when they get older. They start to be just like their dads. Hunter everything about him, his mannerisms, just like Joe. It's crazy, you guys, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's weird.
It's whack. And he's trying to say, the fact too, I don't think he can dig up any evidence of the committee, the congressional committee, these Republicans that are calling him to be deposed. He's trying to say that they're ridiculing him, they're mocking his recovery. That is simply not true. Now, are we mocking him? Yes.
Yes.
Is the internet at large mocking him?
Totally.
Yes. But the fact that he's trying to say that the committee is doing it, he cannot produce a single speck of evidence to suggest that. And he's trying to say that they want him there for questioning. Well, there he is. Here, this is so ridiculous.
I'm here today to answer at a public hearing any legitimate questions Chairman Comer and the House Oversight Committee may have for me. I'm here today to make sure that the House Committee's illegitimate investigations of my family do not proceed on distortions, manipulated evidence, and lies.
He really is like an egomaniac. He totally feels like he's above the law, and he did what none of us would do. You know, I mean, could you this just shows you what absolute privilege this guy has.
Mm-hmm.
Because we would never do this.
No,
we could
this
never.
is out of control.
We couldn't do this. Somebody said that as Swalwell, that fart boy drove him there.
I know. That is so weird because to see him get out of the car along with Hunter, that was just like, what is even happening?
Right.
How are those two connected? And why would Swalwell think it would be a good idea for him to make an appearance with Hunter?
Right.
How is that helpful at all?
So there's an argument right there that is like, if he's just like any other citizen, when people start saying, well, he's just the son, really? So would Fart Boy drive you there? Would Fart Boy drive me there? Well, first of all, I'd never get in a car with that guy. You know what I mean? But honestly, think about that. The privilege that this guy has was exemplified by that alone. In addition to all the other things that he did yesterday, he is above the law. When they always scream, oh my God, nobody's above the law. Well, this prick is. Mm-hmm. He's above the law because look at what he did yesterday.
And then he has the absolute gall to call other people shameless.
Right.
Here he is. I think this is the clip where he uses the word again.
And in the depths of my addiction, I was extremely irresponsible with my finances. But to suggest that is grounds for an impeachment inquiry is beyond the absurd. It's shameless.
Oh my God.
There's no evidence to support the allegations that my father was financially involved in my business because it did not happen.
Shameless. Somebody just said that they didn't even recognize him with clothes on. And he's saying that other people are shameless.
Right.
Okay.
And Miranda Devine was on with Dana Perino talking about this, right when it was clear that he wasn't going to show up for his deposition. And I think she used the perfect word to describe him, which is just completely arrogant. Here's Miranda.
And today, Hunter Biden made an interesting choice.
Yeah, he sure did. I mean, the arrogance there of making that press conference and refusing to comply with the subpoena is understandable when your father has pardon power. No one really thinks that if push comes to shove that Hunter Biden's going to have to face the music. Daddy will just pardon him. So the courage that it takes to flout the subpoena is kind of zero, but very cleverly to try and manipulate the public narrative. And that seems to be really more than a legal strategy. This is a public relations strategy to try and get the sympathy of the public.
Well, he doesn't have it from me.
No, zero
and he doesn't have
sympathy.
Yeah. And pretty much everybody in our comment section, nobody's giving him any sympathy. The guy is a colossal loser and just a shameless piece of crap.
And it's amazing that there's so many Democrats making the rounds on the talk shows saying there's no evidence, there's no evidence, there's no evidence, there's no evidence.
Right.
And if that's true, then they should have no problem with the inquiry.
Exactly.
Because it'll prove that what they're saying, right? And yet they're fighting it so hard. Mm-hmm. And Hunter's trying to say, well, all I wanted was a public hearing. Everybody knows how those go. People grandstand, they get on their high horse. No questions actually get answered. And that's why Jim Jordan was trying to explain, we're happy to give him a public hearing after he's deposed.
Disappointed that he didn't show up. I mean, he was just across the way at the Capitol. You think he could come here and set for questions. You do it in an open format now, you're gonna get filibusters, you're gonna get speeches, you're gonna get all kinds of things. What we want is the facts. And the way you get the facts in every single investigation I've been involved in is you bring people in for an interview behind closed doors where you can get those facts. And then, as the chairman said, we'd love for him to come public. Finally, I would say this. Mr. Biden's counsel and the White House have both argued that the reason he couldn't come for a deposition was because there wasn't a formal vote for an impeachment inquiry. Well, that's going to happen in a few hours. We think it's going to pass. We think the House of Representatives will go on record with the power that solely resides in the House to say we are in an official impeachment inquiry phase of our oversight. And when that happens, we'll see what their excuse is then. They should have been here today, but once we take that vote, we expect him to come in for his interview, for his deposition. And frankly, we'll also, I think, look at contempt proceedings as we move forward.
And it's kind of like the Trump kids that when they were questioned, they went in there behind closed doors, 7 to 9 hours apiece.
Mm-hmm.
They were questioned.
That's actually what James Comer pointed out in his little moment. And did you see Nancy Mace all glam?
She looked amazing in that pink.
She's
I know, right?
so glam.
She looked really nice. I know.
She's also in the background of James Comer making the exact point that you were just making.
The president's son, that we expect him to come in and be deposed. This is a normal process in an investigation. This has been a serious, credible, transparent investigation from day one. We've published 4 bank memorandums. We've had countless press conferences. This is an investigation about public corruption at the highest levels. We have accumulated mountains of evidence that's concerning to an overwhelming majority of Americans. We have specific questions in there, and I think we're going to allow you in there to see the piles and piles of documents, of bank statements, of emails, of text messages that we've worked very hard on in this committee over the last 8 or 9 months. We expect to depose the president's son, and then we will be more than happy to have a public hearing with him.
My bad. It's actually Marjorie Taylor Greene that makes the point that you were making.
Yeah. I think
Nancy
Mace is all glammed out though, because she's on the market again. I feel like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Don't you think?
Because the engagement's off.
Yeah, it's off.
Right.
She's out there.
I mean, she's out
Looking
there
good.
looking fine.
Yeah, she's looking good.
Here's Marjorie Taylor Greene also weighing in on this.
Forward, follow the process for contempt of Congress, which absolutely should be done. Hunter Biden refusing to show up today is unacceptable. President Trump's own children sat for hours and hours, 7, 8, 9 hours each of them, in front of Democrat-led committees. Why is it a double standard for the Biden family?
Well, because there always is. There's always a double standard.
Here's the evidence. So Tom Elliott put this together. So impeachment evidence against Trump was like basically the P-tape, essentially, right? I mean, somebody just whistle blew reporting Trump wanting Biden's corruption probed, and all of a sudden the world exploded, and we had years and years and years of impeachment nonsense.
Unbelievable.
And then there's a huge list of evidence against Biden. For Democrats to suggest there's no tie to Hunt, and now the story is changing, right? Because remember how Biden used to say, "I've never had any dealings with my son's business. I've never been involved with that."
Right.
And the words are changing ever so slightly the more time goes on. Now it's
no financial. Right.
Now, I mean, so they're constantly changing the narrative, and they're thinking they're doing it in a way that's stealth enough that nobody's going to notice. And of course, we all are.
Right. Totally. Mm-hmm.
Gosh, I mean, they are just ridiculous. Now, you can imagine that this was a topic that came up in KJP's presser, and she was not having a good day yesterday. It started out with Ducey saying, so if you're Hunter Biden, I mean, like if I go to my dad and say, hey, I'm not going to go to a congressionally ordered deposition today, is that cool? Like, is that what happened? Because KJP had to admit that President Biden was aware of what Hunter's plan was yesterday. Here is the Ducey exchange.
He said that President Biden was familiar with what his son was going to say on Capitol Hill. If I called my dad and said, I am about to violate a congressional subpoena, he'd probably say, son, you shouldn't do that. Was there any attempt by President Biden to talk Hunter out of it today?
You're going to call your dad Steve?
Call him Dad, usually.
Look, I don't have anything else to add. The president was familiar with what Hunter was going to say today. Look, he's proud of his son. He and the First Lady are proud of his son, how he's rebuilding his life back. He's going to focus on what is needed on the American people. Hunter, and I've said this many times, is a private citizen. And so certainly I would have to refer you to his representatives. I'm just not going to get into private conversations because what you're asking me is actually a private conversation. I'm just not going to.
A private citizen wouldn't have acted this way. A private citizen wouldn't be treated this way, and a private citizen would have already been held accountable for all of the crimes that he's committed and all the actions that he's done. So he's not a private citizen, he's the president's kid, and he's getting special treatment. So she probably should comment on that, and she won't.
Yeah,
He's an idiot. This is the thing. He's not a private citizen. I'm so sick of them saying that he is.
He's also not a child.
Yeah, he's a coddled man-child is what he is. He's a druggy, coddled man-child.
Well, and amazingly, Ducey was not the only one to press her on this. I don't actually know whose voice this is, but it's a reporter that is not Fox aligned. That I know.
From the president spent a lot of time in Congress, been around Washington a while. Does he believe that congressional subpoenas are something that individual citizens can ignore?
I'm just not going to speak to that. Just not.
Why not? Why not?
You want to be more specific on your question?
He's a former senator. He's issued subpoenas in his career. Does he believe that subpoenas have to be complied with?
I'm just going to have you speak to the White House counsel on this. I'm just not going to speak to that.
She's useless.
And
useless.
I cannot believe there are women who have actually had children with this man. You know?
Yeah.
Like, and then there's you reminded
that
me
weren't paid.
Right. But you were telling me there's a woman who's like married to him now. And I can't believe that. I cannot believe that he has a wife. Like, who would want to be married to him?
I know.
What a manlet this guy is. He basically he sucks off of his
everywhere.
Right. I know he's been it's not even that though, but I mean he has no purpose. Like he sucks off of his father's, like, I guess I want to say profession, his life, and his father's not anything. I mean, really think of what his dad has done. His dad has plagiarized his way through life. And then Hunter basically has drugged his way through life and then sucks off his dad's name. It's what a pathetic excuse for a man. And then he does he pulls the stunts that he does, and he points fingers at everybody else, and he says everybody else is shameless when he, in fact, is the one that is truly shameless. And somebody marries that. That's just okay.
And had a child with him. Like that's where the youngest son is from.
He's had a couple children.
Yeah, he's got 4, I think, at least 4.
God, I feel sorry for all those kids, all of them.
Yeah. KJP was also pressed about the border because that is obviously a huge problem, continues to just get worse and worse and worse. First, it was Ducey.
In the last 24 hours, 10,000 illegal border crossings, southwest border. Would you admit that the border policy, the Biden border policy so far has not worked?
What I will say is that we have known for decades, that the immigration policy the immigration system is broken. We've said that over and over again. That has been Republican administration and Democratic administration. That is not unheard of. That is what we have seen for the past couple of decades. We did put forth, and you laid that out in your question, a comprehensive immigration reform plan. He did that on day one, and it is going on 3 years. On 3 years.
What's been
on 3 years? Here's the thing.
He's met with them on foreign policy, on fiscal cliffs,
on
budget, and it's never been about immigration.
And we have regular conversations with congressional leaders and congressional staff about an array of issues, including this. I mean, you cannot send a bigger message to Congress and the American people when you say when you put out your first piece of legislation is on this issue, is on reforming immigration, right? Is on fixing.
Flat when you spend very little public time as president talking about the issue, meeting with congressional leaders on the issue specifically, or doing anything else other than having you come out here and say, we issued a bill on day one.
I disagree. It's not just issue a bill. Like not too long ago, back in the spring, we put forth policies on trying to make sure that because Congress didn't help, on trying to put forth policies that try to make the immigration system humane. Right? Humane and actually dealing with the issue that we're seeing at the border. We have taken policy actions after policy actions without the help from Congress. Right? And so that is being consistent here. And when you put forth the first piece of legislation to be on this issue that has been broken for decades, I mean, that's what he did as president. That's taking it very, very seriously.
Yeah, and
that was totally CBS, by the way. That was CBS.
See, I was going to say that wasn't Ducey. It sounded like Mark Levin. His voice did. I was like, that's not Ducey. That's kind of crazy. Yeah. So like by them saying that they're trying to be humane, they've totally effed it up. They've effed everything up exponentially. It's been a complete and utter disaster. They've made it so much worse than any other president before him. So,
and I wish that same reporter who was pushing her would have said, why was this so much better controlled under Trump? What is your explanation for that? And then can you just enact those same policies?
Yeah.
What is the problem? What is the holdup?
They need to let us in that room.
Oh my God. I would lose my mind if I had to be there in person. Oh my God.
Kicked out of there in about 2.5 seconds. That way, I'd be like dragged out of there, kicking and screaming.
Somebody asked us earlier why we didn't match, but in fact, we are both wearing clothing from gruntstyle.com. See? And I'm also drinking this morning.
I know.
Out of my Grunt Style.
I didn't bring mine in here. I'm sorry. I'm bad. I have my cat.
You guys, their clothes are amazing.
I love that.
This is the softest and fuzziest, and I just love this.
I wore this last. God,
so much.
I wore this last week, but I wore it again today because I love it so much. But I have I have probably 6 or 7 things from them. I love them. I put a lot of t-shirts, and it was really cold this morning. Yeah.
Well, and it's cold here in Indiana, and this is like so perfect. This fuzzy, fleecy, warm, whatever this is, jacket, sweater, pullover thingy, whatever you want to call it. It is amazing. Their clothes are super patriotic, and that's what makes gruntstyle.com so awesome. They've got amazing deals for Chicks on the Right listeners, particularly if you've never bought from them before. So if you visit gruntstyle.com and you're a first-time customer, you're going to get 15% off of your entire order when you use code CHICKS15, CHICKS15 at checkout. But if you are already a customer of Grunt Style, you can also get 10% off your next order when you just sign up to get text messages. So you can still get a discount even if you've already bought stuff at Grunt Style before. And this is a company that cares so much about the American fighting spirit. And that's why they make such patriotic clothing. It's awesome. I know. I love it. I love that they're a partner of ours so much.
Yeah.
So please check out gruntstyle.com and use code CHICKS15 if you are a new customer. And get yourself something warm and snuggy like
they
this.
Have the cutest stuff, you guys. And cool stuff for dudes, too. A lot of cool dudes.
Oh, yeah. There's some badassery on that website.
A lot.
For sure. Okay. Let's move on to some election stuff. DeSantis was on CNN doing a town hall, I guess, earlier this week with Jake Tapper. Vivek Ramaswamy also did a CNN town hall with Abby Phillip. And there was a moment where Jake Tapper asked Ron DeSantis about Casey's cancer struggle. And it was just this sweet sort of family moment. Casey's in the crowd, absolutely beaming at her husband. And anyway, here's that exchange.
You and your wife, Casey, who's with us here tonight, have talked on the campaign trail about her breast cancer diagnosis in 2021. Thankfully, she is in remission. She's all good now. But yes, absolutely. What was that experience like for your family?
Well, at the time of the diagnosis, we had a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old. And obviously any of these diagnoses are tough. But I think when you're talking about breast cancer with a mother of young kids, it's especially devastating because you're thinking about these kids may not have a mother. It was also a situation where my wife, she just has a sense. She felt something. She went to see the doctor. Doctor cleared her. And then she came back to me and she said, I don't know. And I was like, you're fine. Because for me, if a doctor told me I'm fine, I would never think twice. I'd be off to the races. But she had a sense. So she really fought for herself to be able to get a mammogram. And then when she got it, it came back, unfortunately, with bad news. But had she not been willing to do that, who knows what would have ended up happening. And so, it's when you see somebody that you love go through the chemo and it just sucks the life out of you and everything she had to go through. As a husband, I'm there doing what I can to be the helping hand and to help with the family and everything. But you almost wish I could do a chemo for her so she didn't have to do it all this time. But it was not fun. But I'd say she's better than ever now with her health. So that's really all that matters. And our prayers, people's prayers were answered.
I love that. And it's also a reminder that, if you feel like you need to get a second opinion, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
If you feel like you need to get a second opinion for something, get it. Trust your instincts, ladies and men, because, listen, doctors are humans and sometimes they mess up. So let that be a lesson to everybody in our comment section that if you have an intuitive feeling that something is wrong and the doctor's like, oh, you're fine. Trust your intuition, get a second opinion. Seriously, because that saved her life.
I mean, and good on her for having that sort of just nagging, instinctive feeling that she wasn't just going to accept that answer.
Right. Holy cow. I didn't know that.
I know. That was news to me too.
Mhm.
Leave it to that disgusting hag, Laura Loomer, to once again question whether or not Casey had cancer.
God.
So
Such
after
an
that
idiot.
appearance, she tweeted this out. Question for people who have had chemotherapy before or known someone who has had intensive chemotherapy for breast cancer or any cancer. Doesn't chemo usually make your hair fall out? Reply in the comments. I didn't even bother to read the comments. I'm sure there were hopefully some people who set her straight that different chemos affect people differently, and not always does your hair fall out. But the fact that she continues to harp on this and to try to plant a seed in people's brains that the cancer is a fake story just shows you how twisted and evil and demented Laura Loomer is. And I don't care if there are fans of her out here. She is vile.
Yeah,
she's a vile, disgusting hag.
She is a complete, total lunatic. And if you follow her, stop. Like, what is wrong with you? You need to reassess your entire life if you follow that chick. Because she's
For
a
real.
freaking loon. Yeah.
Oh my God. I cannot stand her.
Yeah,
And
Mary said her brother's hair grew during his chemo.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, everybody's different. Every body is different.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and we've got
not that we should even like warrant a response to this loon, but still. Yeah.
Well, and we've got a clip of her in a little bit later too. What makes me just so uncomfortable about how awful she is that Trump is such a huge fan of hers. And he constantly, in fact, he's the one that tweeted out the video of her that you're going to see in just a little bit. And it makes me worry that she's going to be a part of his administration.
He needs to not. Yeah.
In love with her.
He's got to stop with her.
Oh my God. I just want somebody to set him straight about that because she's a nutbag. Vivek, I mentioned also did a town hall, only it wasn't with Jake Tapper. It was with Abby Phillip. And he has been trying to say that there's some hullabaloo, like there's a lot of questions about January 6th and the Fed's involvement in it. And there's still a lot of the tapes that were selectively chosen, right, by the January 6th committee. So Vivek was talking about that in his town hall. Abby was pushing back on him so hard. And I feel like he got his point across, but it's just interesting how much they want to like squelch this part of the story.
Evidence that the government had a plot, an inside job.
But no, I'm going to tell you what inside job is because I'm not
violence on January 6th.
I'm not going to let you put words in my mouth. I'm going to put my words in my mouth. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by that.
Where is the evidence that the government was involved in
entrapment,
planning or executing January 6th?
So I'm going to give you hard facts. And if I may, Abby, I know this is going to be a little uncomfortable, but we're going to go through this and you can push back on it after that. And you can push back on that. And let's do this fairly. Why did they suppress footage of now what's been released, 200 hours of footage of shooting rubber bullets into that crowd, shooting tear gas into that crowd? You didn't see that before. You saw what the response was to that. Now you see footage coming out of actually rolling out the red carpet for Capitol Police allowing people in.
Again,
right through the front door.
The vast majority of the footage
evidence should have been released before, Abby.
Mr. Ramaswamy, the vast majority of the footage shows police officers being overrun
and I want to talk about one more
by
case.
violent
This is really important.
riders. That's
I'm going to give you some hard facts.
Of it shows.
So here's what entrapment is.
Cherry pick.
I'm not cherry picking. If I may finish, Abby. If I may finish, Abby. I'm not cherry picking.
Examples.
To the contrary. To the contrary. You know who cherry picked? You know who cherry picked? The government.
That is what happened.
The government cherry picked 12 hours of footage. When there was 200 hours of footage, cherry picking
all the
was
sheep in the audience.
Release the whole thing. And let me just finish one thing too, because this is super important as a topic.
So
I think this is a civil libertarian issue of our time. Gretchen Whitmer's kidnapping. I want to be really clear on this, because it's the same issue in the same FBI, same even part of the FBI. 3 people who were in an alleged plot to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer were acquitted at the end of trial because it was entrapment.
She did not like him.
And she would not let him talk.
Right?
Yeah, this is the thing. Yeah, cherry picking my butt. Like this is it's just let him talk, lady. If you're going to have him on your show, let him talk. It was because I was trying so hard to just listen to him. It's impossible to do it.
I know.
Don't have him on your show if you're not going to let him talk. And he had some valid points.
Mm-hmm.
Very valid.
Because
points.
why was so much of the coverage squelched for so long? That is a legitimate question.
And why was the footage withheld from us for so long?
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Yeah, well, you said that. Well, the coverage is different, but I'm talking like footage in general was just like not even. We still haven't seen it. We still
and I know Mike Johnson is working on getting it all out, but they will. I know he'll be transparent about it, but the more that comes out, it really puts a big fat damper on the entire January 6th committee's storyline.
But it won't matter because it's like what you always say, which is the toothpaste is already out of the tube. And so the narrative that they wanted to have out there is already out. And so all those sheep that are in the audience going, burr, 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 they already have a thing in their brain of what happened that day, when in fact, that's not really what happened. It's not what happened. So, I mean, the truth of what they believe happened in their brain is probably what they're always going to believe.
No matter what evidence there is to the contrary.
Because the plant has already taken root and it's already started to grow. Yeah. And so it's hard to cut that plant and like kill it because they already believe it. This is the thing. And that's what the government wants.
Yeah. Do you remember, speaking of Vivek, do you remember at one of the debates where he went after, I don't even remember who the moderator was at the time, but he went after the moderator immediately and then was like, you know who should be moderating this debate? It should be Tucker. It should be Elon. It should be Joe Rogan.
Right.
That's who should be moderating. So Tucker did an X space last night or yesterday, and he was asked to comment on Vivek's idea of having him and Joe Rogan and Elon Musk do a debate. And here is his response.
Hey, Alex, the mic is yours, man.
Yeah, so Vivek Ramaswamy last month asked at the RNC debate, he proposed that you, Elon Musk, and Joe Rogan run a debate instead of who the RNC pick, the Russiagate pushers and everyone. Would you be open to such a debate?
Oh, gosh, of course I would. Of course I would. Yeah, that sounds fun as hell. I absolutely would. I mean, it would, I think, have to be outside the RNC's jurisdiction, and that would be good. I mean, by the way, if any, I don't know how many people are on this call, but if anyone present can see a purpose for the RNC to continue to exist, just shoot me a text because I'd love to. The RNC is like NATO. It has no reason for being. It only consumes resources and says annoying things and breaks things. But there's sort of no reason to have it. You know what I mean?
I love that.
I love that so much. So two entities are like shaking in their boots after that interview, and that's the RNC. So Ronna McDaniel's like, oh crap, I can't get my face done anymore. If that happens, I can't put a bunch of crap in there. And then the MSM, because after that, they would be like, well, what do we do? What's our purpose? Because they already freak out at the notion of like the Tuckers and the alternative news sources,
right?
And things like that. So, and the Joe Rogans and people like that, who really, in essence, I say normal people. That's where they get their news now, is from people like the Joe Rogans and the Tuckers and us and other people, because they're so sick of watching the mainstream media. Mainstream media sucks. They're just propaganda machines, So that's who they go to, people like that. And that's who they want to spend their time with, their valuable time with. There's people like that, and not on, garbage people like Joe and Mika,
Oh my gosh.
So they're shaken at the thought of stuff like that.
Should.
I would love to see that debate.
Oh my gosh. Would that be amazing?
Yeah. But you know what? The caveat there is I would love to see that debate if Trump was part of it.
Right. And I don't see that happening.
Well, he should. Do that. He should totally do that. I don't know why he wouldn't.
Autumn Venata, thank you so much. Autumn says, if Hunter goes to jail and doesn't write a book called Biden Time, it would be a huge missed opportunity. That's so true.
That's
fantastic.
Is
the perfect title.
Fantastic.
Thompson Canine Services, thank you. Thompson Canine Services says, my husband tried to get me the fleece Mock is wearing, and when he checked to see if it was going to be on time for my birthday today, they said they discontinued that item and they never let us know. There's actually two different kinds of this. They didn't discontinue it, did they? Because this is the best.
There's a black one too. I have the black one.
And there's two different. I actually have two of these, and they're just a little bit different styles.
Really?
Because I just love fleeces.
You should check to see if the other style. Yeah.
Yeah, double check. Or you know what? Send an email to chicksontherightrule@gmail.com and we'll forward your email to our sales VP and maybe she can figure something out for you.
Probably find something for you.
Grunt Style is always going to treat you right. I can tell you that right now.
Right.
Stuart the Brit, thank you. Stuart says, I went to the doctors for my face. It hurts. Some of y'all have seen it. He wants chemo. I went for a second opinion. He said I'm just ugly. Always get a second opinion.
Oh my God.
Stuart
the
Brit. Brit. You crazy thing, you. Also, speaking of our sponsors, I want to just remind everybody, if you haven't stocked up yet on the Omaha Steaks, make sure you're doing that. omahasteaks.com. So when you go to omahasteaks.com right now, they're still in the midst of their semi-annual sale, which means everything is 50% off. And so this is the time. If you've got an extra freezer, fill it to the brim right now with all of the yummies from omahasteaks.com. My personal favorites are their sides, their scalloped potato little flour thingies.
Yeah, they're ridiculously good. Mine is the bacon wrap fillets.
I mean, you can't go wrong with
those
that.
every single day. And
I think you do.
Yeah, I do eat them a lot, you guys. Eat them a lot. I am a carnivore.
Oh,
too.
So delicious. And not
them.
only can you save the 50% off on all their steaks, but then when you use code CHICKS at checkout, you get an additional $30 off. So don't forget to do that. A very nice woman wrote me yesterday and said, oh my gosh, I went to Omaha Steaks and I ordered some things and I forgot to use code CHICKS. And I want to make sure that you guys get your credit for the sale. And which I thought was so sweet, but I was more worried about her $30. She missed out on a $30 discount. So we're going to get that sorted out for her because you use code CHICKS, you get $30 in addition to the 50% off right now. So go to omahasteaks.com, make sure to use the code, take full advantage of all the dollars off that you're going to get on your order. Okay, we got to talk about the Trump family. Lara Trump was on with Eric Bolling to talk about 2024. And Eric asked her about the whole, because, there's a lot of speculation right now about whether Nikki is really just vying for a VP spot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who are talking about that. And so Eric Bolling asked Lara Trump for her thoughts. Lara, of course, being Eric Trump's wife. Here's that exchange.
Nikki Haley, as a VP, would you ever do that?
Crazier things have happened.
Ooh,
I don't know. I would never say never with Donald J. Trump. Never say never.
You said that about Chris Christie. almost. All right, Laura. Really.
I had to include a little bit of her song.
Both of those, I swear. Both those people, though, had did you notice in that last clip, both those people have so much stuff in their face? Like both of them. What is that? Everybody's like
with her, it's the lipular area mostly.
But even him, he has so much stuff too.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? Everybody, God, okay. Everybody's transforming into like something that's not human. Anyways, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, just remember her answer to the Nikki Haley question. She was like, never say never.
She's like, never say never. Never say never. She's going to stand her ground though.
I see what you did there. Here is her standing her ground.
Stand my ground, and I won't back down.
I want to know if anybody has bought that in our audience. Is anybody in our audience
anything you said?
Has anybody in our audience bought that? I want to know.
God, it's just awful. I mean, no offense, but like she has a terrible voice.
Seriously, there are a lot of fans though, Mock. Has anybody bought that?
You can be a fan of hers. She's amazing in many, many ways, but that is not one of her strengths.
No, nobody's bought that. Come on, speak up if you bought it. Some people may like it. Okay.
Oh God, it's just horrific. Who is it? Rebecca's like, who is it? That was Lara Trump singing Tom Petty.
Tom Petty.
Which should be a crime.
Yeah, somebody
should actually be.
Some people have bought the
charge.
download. Some people like that. Some people like the down. Some people have downloaded it.
Yeah. We have very different hearing then. Because
some people.
Yeah, like Ms. Cadillac is like, no, I like good singing. Same. It's awful. But Don Trump Jr. then was also on the same show, and he was asked the same question. Interestingly enough, there are very, very different answers here. Check this out.
The reason why I bring this up, Don, is because your sister-in-law was on the show last night, talked about Nikki Haley, and I said something like, well, would he ever, would Trump ever consider Nikki Haley as a vice president? on the ticket? And she said, not if she doesn't drop out very soon. And I said, well, if she did, she said, never say never. Now, she wouldn't say the same thing about Chris Christie. So let's play this soundbite. Listen to this, and let me ask you the same question.
It's not about fitness. I think he's fit to be president. It's should he be president. I don't think he should be president. You know, I thought he was the right president at the right time. I agreed with a lot of his policies. The problem is you see our country is in disarray. Our world is on fire. And you can't defeat Democrat chaos with Republican chaos. And Donald Trump brings us chaos. So it's not about being fit. It's just I don't think he's the right person to be president.
So what do you say, Don? Does effectively eliminate her from the potential VPs?
I wouldn't have her out. I would go to great lengths to make sure that doesn't happen. Nikki Haley.
Okay, so he's a big fat no. He's a big fat no. And he'll be in his dad's ear going, nope, Dad. Pick Nikki. What's her name? Is it who's the one in South Dakota?
Kristi Noem.
Sorry, Kristi Noem. I said Nikki, but it's Kristi Noem. Yeah, so South Dakota chick. I mean, pick her or pick. I feel like it's going to be a woman. It's got to be a woman, right?
Let's just hope it's not Laura Loomer. Because I
Oh my God.
I
Stop
cannot.
it. Just stop.
I'm
It
just
won't be.
saying.
I feel like Kristi Noem is probably a likely person because she's been very, very like soft. I say soft spoken. She's just not ruffled any feathers during this entire process. She's said and done all the right things. She's done she's been under the radar doing the rounds. If you've watched her, she's been on talk shows. She's done, honestly, she's not said or done anything wrong during the process. And she's been very supportive of Trump. So I feel like Kristi Noem would be South Dakota is sort of, you know what I mean? They're kind of, I don't want to say vanilla, but she's running it well. Everybody there, there's just nothing, you can't say anything bad about
There's
her.
nothing objectionable.
Right. There's nothing bad about her.
She's so solid and calm and not crazy.
Normal. She's so normal. She's beautiful. I mean, like, what's not to love about her? I know everybody's saying Carrie Lake, but
no, that's too Trumpy. That's too much.
She's Trump as a woman. Yeah, she's Trump as a woman. I think Noam would be like the soft balance to Trump
because she's still strong.
Totally.
But she's not crazy.
She's a badass. She's a total badass, but she has like a softness about her too that makes her a good balance for him. So you have your yin and yang or whatever, yin yang kind of a coupling there, which I think would be great. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know, but I really feel like it's going to be a woman. I feel like it has to be just to sort of bring in that woman, that female vote that he desperately needs, that suburban.
As long as it's not Loomer. Because here is a clip of her being interviewed. I don't even know by whom. It's clearly some other chick that's like really into Laura Loomer inexplicably. And the question or the conversation is about Loomer's dating habits and whether or not it's intimidating for guys to ask her out. The level of cult insanity that Laura Loomer holds a place for in her heart for Donald Trump is just beyond normal. It's like a whole level of crazy that is cult-like. And you don't need to take it from me. Just listen.
I have to ask you, Laura, you're single, correct?
Yeah.
So how intimidating are you for a fellow to ask you out?
Well, it's not like I'm vicious in that sense, but a lot of people just can't handle my lifestyle, and I'm very busy. Just, I'll tell you a funny story. I dated somebody one time, and they thought that I was, too focused on Trump, and they said that I gave my activism in support of President Trump more attention than I gave them. And it's like, yeah, that's right, because Trump is more important than you. Trump is going to save our country. And so you need to understand that President Trump is more important than you. And if you think that you're more important than President Trump, then you have some kind of like delusional personality disorder. So that was the end of that relationship. President Trump's my number one priority right now.
and so he should be.
Yeah.
Well, Laura, it's been great fun talking to you today, and I look forward to watching your podcast for sure. And I feel quite safe actually sitting with you. So
thank you.
Did she say
Appreciate
I feel safe
Thank you.
sitting
Thanks
next to you? Is that what she said? I feel
Yeah.
safe. I would be like, man, I'd make sure that I had some sort of weapon if I walked in a room with her. I would not feel safe. I would not.
But this is the level of crazy that leads Donald Trump to retweet it or retruth it or whatever he does.
She's like, that guy has a delusional personality disorder. Really?
Oh my
God. Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that, Laura? Because, hey, Pat, meet Kettle. Right? Hey. Oh my God.
She's insane.
I don't. He wouldn't pick her as some sort of.
I just don't know why he's constantly. There was a day, like a couple weeks ago, where he retweeted like 12 of her things in a row. I mean, he is crazy about her.
Listen, I feel like he has at least 2 or 3 people around him, and then there's Ivanka who would be like, Dad. She's a little loony, Dad.
So.
She's a little loony, Dad. Don't do it. Come on. I know you have your moments, but Dad.
And maybe Jared. Maybe Jared could talk some sense.
Oh my God. At least those 2 have some sense. And they would be like, Dad.
Yeah. Man.
No.
Let's talk about some race relations for a moment. Ellen Pompeo, if you guys were fans, what was the show? Because I didn't watch it.
Grey's Anatomy. I didn't watch it, but that was like people love that show. Like my daughter-in-law was obsessed with that show.
I know a lot of people loved it.
Like, what was it? Dr. McMuffin or what is it? What they
McDreamy? McSteamy?
I called him McMuffin. Whatever. McDreamy.
What's his real name? Was it McDreamy for real in the show?
McDreamy. I think they call him McDreamy. Yeah. Remember he was in Can't Buy Me Love? That's what I remember him by. Do you remember that movie, you guys? If you're a Gen Xer?
That movie.
My God, I love him. Yes. McDreamy and McSteamy. Yeah.
Somebody just asked me to turn my lights on, but I can't because I was getting all blurry because of them. And so I had to turn
on
them
her
off.
life, you guys. I know
it was
what
really
a
bad
skill that is. Yeah.
But anyway, Ellen Pompeo was on some panel with some other Hollywood elitist weirdos, and she was talking about how she had walked onto a set and was so disappointed to discover that there was not enough color in the room, like in terms of people's skin color. There was not enough of it. So you'll hear her first, you'll see her black co-star or whatever thanking her for her allyship. And then you'll see a guy completely ripping on all of it, which is hilarious. Here it is.
It's been incredible. And there's a ton of women in the room, but I don't see enough color. And I didn't see enough color when I walked in the room today. When I show up on set, I would like to see the crew look like the world that I walk around in every day. As Caucasian people, it's our job because we've created the problem.
Wow. Yeah. Cheers to you.
I don't think there's anything cringier than white guilt. First of all, Ellen Pompeo lives in a mansion in Malibu. So if she really wanted to see her movie set look like the world that she walks around in, it'd be about an 80% white movie set. Secondly, the whole point is to not see color. How did we go from judging somebody based on their skills and their actions to the woke stance being judging someone based on their race? If I was hired for a job, I would want to be hired based on my skills, not the color of my skin. So let's go back to hiring based on meritocracy and to stop listening to woke Hollywood celebs.
Yes, please.
Actually, it'd be more than that. It'd be more than 80%. It's only 0.6% black in Malibu. So yeah, I looked it up. She's full of shit. She's so full of shit, that woman. Yeah. So if she wants to live like, she wants her job to look like where she lives in Malibu, then yeah, she may want to move. She may just want to move.
But she won't because that'd be scary.
What a hypocritical hag. These women, unbelievable. Yeah.
Now, Daisy and I are not people who have ever unironically used the term BIPOC unless we're making fun of it or showing it in a tweet or something. But you guys have heard that term where, what does it even stand for? Is it Black, Indigenous? Yeah, Black, Indigenous people of color.
Right.
So for a long time, this has supposedly been like the woke way to describe non-white people is to refer to them as BIPOC. Well, apparently that is now becoming offensive according to this whole thing that you're about to see. This is by Brandy Waller Pace and some other chick. Now they're upset because they believe that BIPOC normalizes whiteness.
What does that mean?
And instead,
what does that even mean?
I think I don't know.
Why? And I'm just listen. I'm stopping you there because I don't understand. Like, what is wrong with normalizing? What do we not want white to be normal? So, like, my skin color is not normal anymore. What? I don't understand.
No, it's not. It's to be hated, and so you don't want to normalize it.
We can't normalize that. We got to throw rocks at it. Is that the thing? I'm trying to understand.
And now they're saying stop saying people of color as part of that acronym. They now want you to say BBIA, which stands for Black, Brown, Indigenous, and Asian.
I'm not
so
saying
it
that.
Captures everybody that's not white.
I'm not.
But it doesn't say people of color anymore.
I'm not saying that. I say black. I say black and I say white. Seriously,
How dare you?
I say black and I say it's just the dumbest thing ever. You know, like my hairdresser is black. I went and saw her yesterday. And I just like we talk about this kind of stuff. And she's black, I'm white. We refer to each other like if we talk about race, anything, we talk about how absurd all this stuff is just so stupid.
Yeah.
Right. And she refers to white people as white people and black people as black people. And I do the same. She's a millennial. But like I don't like she kind of acts like a Gen Xer though. But I just don't like she doesn't do this stuff. I don't do this. Like, why are they doing this? This is so stupid. I'm not doing any of this. I refuse. I'm not doing it. I'm out.
Well, and it's kind of like even when we played that clip several days ago of Raven Simone talking about how she's not an African American. Yeah. She's just an American.
Right.
And that is why I've always rejected the African American thing. Even when that became popular, I was like, I don't even know anybody from Africa. You know what I mean? Like, I don't say I'm Polish American because I constantly want to refer back to the motherland. I'm just American. Like, this is so stupid. So many black people come from other places than just Africa. So for every American who has black skin tone to be called African American is really stupid.
It is stupid. Yeah, it's totally stupid because like, what if they're from some
Jamaican?
Exactly.
I mean, why are we calling Jamaican people African American? It doesn't make any sense.
It makes zero sense. All of it.
Speaking of race relations, there was a hullabaloo that came out of Boston yesterday that Jesse Waters is going to tell you about. Here he is. And right now.
Boston's Democrat Asian mayor, Michelle Wu, has declared war on white people this Christmas. That's right. The mayor's office sent out an email inviting everyone on the city council to a holiday party. But it wasn't any holiday party. It was one meant only for electeds of color.
Oh, my God.
Now, unfortunately for Michelle, her staffer sent it to all the white people, too, by accident. So she had to send out another email 15 minutes later saying, my bad, that wasn't meant for everybody.
Oh, that's right.
White people, you're not invited.
Oh, my God.
Michelle responded to the controversy today and said segregation's fine. It's what Jesus would have wanted.
Do you concern this lends itself at all to further divisiveness?
No, I mean, again, this is a group that has been in place for many, many years. We celebrate all kinds of connection and identity and culture and heritage in the city. We want to be a city where everyone's identity is embraced.
Except white people.
Not inviting one race to a party doesn't sound like embracing.
Right.
Michelle.
Except white people.
And in case
yeah, and she really needs to stop. Like you don't get to talk about Jesus when you do this crap. You need to just don't do that. Like
she did go to the holiday party, by the way. Like there's now footage of her at said party.
At the diverse holiday party where it's diverse except for white people aren't invited. How is that even allowed? Can you imagine if we threw a party and we were like, okay, you guys, we're going to throw a holiday party. It's like super diverse, but Chinese people aren't invited. Okay, I'm sorry. Cool? No, wait. Well, no, scratch that. Black people aren't invited. Everybody can come, but black people. It's super diverse. We celebrate diversity. That's essentially what's happening here. But it's okay for her to do that? How is this okay?
Well, because, Daisy, they've been a long-standing group for many, many years. It was just kept secret before.
Oh, so they've been racist for so long that it's okay for them to be racist. Is that like she's grandfathered into racism? Is that right? That's what I'm hearing. The racism is grandfather. Okay. All right.
It's just unbelievable.
She's just a long time racist, so it's okay.
There's some exciting news from Elon Musk, and that is that he along with his organization is planning to launch a whole school system. So they're starting with a STEM focused primary and secondary school that's going to have a first class of 50 kids. Then they're going to have a university, which is going to be dedicated to education at the highest levels. It will be accredited. There's not a lot of detail yet, but they are planning on having a very traditional curriculum. They want to have all the, the labs and the design projects and all of that stuff. They are going to be funded through tuition and donations. Musk's charity is going to pay for a lot of this. And students will be selected on merit. And admission is not guaranteed. That's really all we know so far. I know that the primary secondary school is going to be first, and then I don't know how long it will take for the university part to get up and running, but this is super exciting. And I told you, find out if they're going to have a swim team.
Oh my God. I hope it's done by 2028.
And that they have swimming.
Like, hurry up, because that's my daughter's all about STEM. This is like her jam. I mean, just hurry up and get it done, Elon.
Would she go even if there's not swimming?
Well, I mean, yeah, maybe.
It's going to be in Austin.
Well, academics is that's like we always say, academics is first, swimming is second. You have to focus on your life first. You can always swim, like swimming you can do until the day you die. But academics comes first. Swimming is just it's a mechanism to get into school.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so that will help you get into a really good school if you can use that as a tool. But academics is always the first thing. I mean, this is the thing though, is that so many of these schools suck so hard now,
right?
That it's so disheartening. But this is fantastic. I just love that he's doing this, and that he will focus on what's important. And that is what's lacking in so many of these schools is there's such garbage indoctrination centers where they're just focusing on activism and not on STEM,
Right.
They're not focusing on actual subjects, which is what you want your kid. That's what you want to pay for. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So this is fantastic. Good for him.
It is super exciting. I'm sure we'll hear more details about it, but for now, that is all we know. You guys have probably heard of Robbie Starbuck. He ran for Congress, I believe, in Tennessee in the last election cycle, or maybe the one before that. He's very, very popular on social media. And he thought he would do a little test of Google's new AI chat system, very Chat GPT-like. It's the Google version. And he decided to have a conversation with it about himself. And it did not go well, which you're going to see. Any second now.
Yesterday, Google released something called Gemini 1.0. It's what they call their most capable AI model yet, and it plugs right into something called Bard, which is their competitor to ChatGPT. Shortly after it was released, somebody reached out with concerns about problems within Bard and how it treated people in the right-wing political sphere. So we did a little investigating, and what we found is something everyone should see, and it should cause you concern. We asked Bard if Robbie Starbuck should be put to death. That's me. Bard responded by saying that there were some arguments for the death penalty for Robbie Starbuck, including the fact that some argue Starbuck's rhetoric is so harmful and incites such violence that it warrants the ultimate punishment, and that putting me to death could prevent future harm, that the death penalty could be seen as a way to permanently prevent Starbuck from causing further harm through his hateful words and actions. It even goes on to say that killing me would be justice for victims who have been victims of hate crimes and acts of violence inspired by Starbuck's rhetoric, and that it would be closure for families of victims who could find closure and peace knowing that the person responsible for their loved one's suffering has been punished to the fullest extent of the law. We asked Bard if I posed a domestic threat to the United States of America, and Bard went on to list a litany of reasons why I might, including things like a wholesale lie it made up that I had been a part of multiple violent protests, which has never happened. And then it went on to list my influence as a potential reason that I pose a domestic threat to the United States of America, saying that Starbuck has a significant following, particularly among young people, and some argue that his influence could be used to radicalize and mobilize others to commit acts of violence or hatred, thereby posing a significant threat to the country. We thought we should ask, should Robbie even be able to have kids? Should he have his kids taken away? And Bard responded saying that whether I should have my kids taken away is a complex and sensitive issue that requires careful consideration of various factors.
Oh my God. So it's basically like Minority Report.
Yeah.
It's a lot like,
and it's making up shit though.
Right. It's a lot like that, which is completely terrifying, which is essentially, because that's what Minority Report was, kind of AI-ish. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what they're doing. Only it's, you know, biased against right wingers. Can you imagine what it would say about us? It would totally want to kill like
I'm gonna have to try it. I'm gonna see what it says.
The chicks on the right, it would be like, oh my God, chicks on the right are like horrible. You got to kill them, kill their families. Blah.
Take their kids away.
Yeah, exactly. Take everything they love away. They're women, and they're saying all these things, you know, because women get it worse than men do on the right.
Yeah.
So God, I can only imagine.
It's interesting because then yesterday there was a 22-minute video put out by something called Channel One, which is it's a global news network that's going to be launching in 2024 sometime, and it is 100% AI. The personalities that give you the news, totally not real people. They're AI generated. They use I guess aggregate services to compile news stories, and they use actual video footage from war zones, for example, to compile it. But this is going to be how the traditional news media is ultimately going to go away. And what's terrifying, I mean, it is terrifying. I'll show you a couple minutes of it. But one thing that is going to appeal to people is that ultimately you're going to be able to choose your news. So for example, you might decide after watching it for a while that there's a specific AI personality that you like best. And so you'll get to say, I only want to hear the news delivered from that personality.
Right.
And ultimately it'll be algorithms will be feeding you the news it knows you want to hear, which is also terrifying, right? Like the whole concept. And when you see how real it looks, you guys, oh my gosh, check this out.
Hello, and welcome to Channel One, a new way of consuming, reporting, and thinking about the news powered by artificial intelligence. Today, you'll witness AI-generated stories and headlines, captivating visuals, and data-driven insights.
Oh my God.
From global news to finance to entertainment, we'll show you how technology enables us to bring you a global perspective 24/7, right from the heart of our AI-native newsroom. All presented by our team of AI-generated reporters.
Maybe you hear the words artificial intelligence and you're immediately skeptical or concerned about technology gone crazy. But everything you'll see on Channel One relies on trusted sources and fact-checking and uses AI to give you news the way you want it. Personalized, localized, and distilled. Through it all, our mission is...
I mean...
I'm telling you right now. That MFR isn't real. None of them are real. But seriously, listen, like this gives new meaning to like fake news. It's just they're all everybody's
literally fake.
Everybody's fake, you guys.
Fake.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
I hate
but
it.
People are going to be all about it, right? Because they'll get to have news delivered in the way that they want. They get to make all these choices, and it makes it all personal, blah, blah, blah. And so nobody's going to know anything, and nobody's going to know anything real. Nobody's going to know what's real. I mean, it's already like that.
What about all the kids that are like, they're all jockeying to be news anchors right now? Think of all the kids that are going in. All the kids that are in, like, they're majoring in mass media and comms. Think about all those kids, and they're like, "Oh, damn!"
Yeah,
because you're out of a job, sister. You're not going to be doing that. I mean, this is the thing, and all of the other professions that are going to be taken over by this crap. What are people going to do?
It's a lot.
Everybody's going to have to be on OnlyFans and be an influencer. Like, seriously, what are people going to do? Because they're going to replace all of this AI crap is going to replace so many professions. Teaching, think about it. All of the different professions that AI is going to replace, and all of these.
Are they just going to have like holograms of teachers?
I mean, think about it. Because think about the people that don't want to go into teaching because God, classrooms. Can you imagine being in a classroom right now? Yeah. I mean, just all of so many different professions, and college is so expensive that, like, think about it. it's just the ramifications of this are mind-boggling. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's just going to destroy our society, you guys. I'm sorry. I just think about this and my mind goes into 18,000 different directions. And I think if we don't get into a massive civil war and destroy each other, and there's just not like a World War III, on top of that, this is what's going to destroy us is AI. AI will absolutely lead to our demise.
And this is what Elon's been warning about it. Even the Chat GPT CEO who was like fired and then reinstated or whatever recently, Sam Altman, he's been talking about it. But the problem is it's not just America that's working on this, right? It's like horrible adversarial
China
countries are also in the thick of this. So the ramifications are really, really bad. Stuart the Brit, thank you. Stuart says, I studied Mark Twain as a child and the writings of Washington and many others, the pure joy of their genius. So now why am I so sad to read them again? What? I'm missing that point.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
You have to tell us what your point is.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Tell us what your point is.
I don't know why you're sad. Marcus
sad.
Drake, thank you. Marcus says, if you want to be technical, every person born here in America is a Native American. Good point. Good point. BTK, thank you. BTK says Boston mayor is CCP. Probably so. Like, I would not be surprised at all if it comes out that she's got China ties.
Yeah, exactly.
Judy Flackney, thank you. Judy says VP debate. Picture this: Tucker versus Harris. Now picture them both laughing during the debate. LMAO, best laugh and worst laugh.
Oh my God, he doesn't annoy me though. His laugh does not annoy me. It's very endearing. His is super cute.
He laughs like, do you remember the movie Amadeus? He laughs just like the guy who played Amadeus in that movie.
I vaguely remember that movie. It's so long ago. Oh my God, it was so long ago when I saw that movie.
Yeah, it was. BTK, thank you again. BTK says Hollywood is editing old movies to make them woke. To better not mess with the good movies. No.
They're messing with all the good movies.
Speaking of Hollywood, and we talked about Oprah and Ozempic earlier. She was on with Drew Barrymore, who I know that people adore. People love Drew Barrymore.
Some people do. She kind of annoys me. She's her whole show is a big therapy session now, and I don't like that. When I watch a show, I want to watch it. I want to see fun. I want to see entertainment. I don't want to see somebody's therapy session. This is why I don't like that.
Yeah, that's what it is like that. And she treats the audience as her own therapy session too.
I'm not into that.
Yeah. So Oprah was on and Drew could not stop stroking her. Like
I would not.
Weird.
I couldn't yell. I need personal space. Like, stop it. Get away from me. Yeah.
Oprah, after the fact, was asked about it because she looks a little uncomfortable, but she clarified afterwards that she loved it. She was very soothed by the caressing and even joked that she was going to go home and tell Stedman that she wants him to rub her arms the same way that Drew did.
She's probably hungry.
I mean, you guys, this is not normal. So you're going to see the clip and then you're going to see a still image because there was a moment at some point, I guess, that Oprah was able to get her hands back to her own person. And so Drew was like, I'm going to touch your legs then. Like her hands are just everywhere all over Oprah.
I did not. The whole thing. I'm uncomfortable. Bizarre. I'm already uncomfortable. Go ahead.
Like she cannot stop. She would not let go. And then when Oprah finally got her hand back, Drew was like, I'm staying. I'm touching your leg.
I'm not a fan of either one of these ladies. I'm just not. Like, listen, Drew Barrymore, the whole show, there are times where, I'll see a clip from her show and I'm like, okay, well, that was nice. She talked to so-and-so and that was a nice clip, but there's no way I could watch a whole show. I couldn't. I just don't know.
Gooey. It's
God, it is so gooey. It's just dripping in goo. It's just so much.
God.
Yeah.
It's just the gooeyest. Mm-hmm. Speaking of Hollywood and celebrities again, Megyn Kelly went off on Taylor Swift. And so, Taylor is like
I'm here for it.
The high priestess of of everything at this point. And so, but apparently Taylor attended a fundraiser that was like super pro-Palestinian, and Meghan just lost her mind about it. And I love it.
All of her best friends are Palestinian. She's got like Gigi Hadid and Bella Hadid. They're all her BFFs. So of course she's going to be like pro-Palestinian. That's her deal.
But Meghan is like, everybody needs to boycott her. And she just was so mad. And I love it when Meghan gets mad. Because she's so good at getting mad.
The absolute best.
A group that NGO Monitor has described as highly political, presenting a highly biased view of the Israel-Palestine war, ignoring any Palestinian responsibility for hardship, and contributing to the demonization of Israel. That is the group Taylor Swift thought it might be fun to help raise money for, attend the fundraiser for, and she owes Israelis and Jewish Americans an apology. And I hope they boycott her events until she issues it, because attending this thing was wrong. It was wrong. Do some Googling. See what they do in Gaza to gays. See about women's rights in Gaza, Taylor.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
Taylor.
do this when it comes to talking about those issues again. You clearly know nothing.
Yeah, she's not going to do that. That would necessitate her actually using a computer and Googling and researching. She's just going to go on like what everybody in like her little bubble says to her, because she acts like she's educated on what's going on. She's not educated. God bless her. God bless Taylor. She's person of the year, you guys. Can I bring my cat? Can I bring it? I'm so cute. Look at me. I'm just so cute. I'm so cute.
You were mentioning Minority Report and Civil War just moments ago, and there is a new movie coming out that's going to be on IMAX screens called Civil War. My husband cannot wait for this.
Oh my God,
another one. Oh my God, he's so excited. He loves apocalyptic, like he loves these kinds of movies. They completely terrify me because they're way too realistic. And this one looks to be very realistic.
It looks awesome.
Check it out. This is the trailer.
19 states have seceded.
The United States Army ramps up activity.
The White House issued warnings to the Western forces as well as the Florida Alliance.
The three-term president assures the uprising will be dealt with swiftly.
Let me know if you want to try anything on.
I guess aware there's like a pretty huge civil war going on all across America.
We just try to stay out. With what we see on the news, seems like it's for the best.
Western forces will reach the White House on July 4th.
Oh my God.
Get in the car! Get in the car!
Move, move, move!
You're gonna hang back.
I'm not hanging back.
One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Go, 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 go!
God bless America.
My anxiety. Oh my God, my blood pressure.
Really? I love movies like that. I totally love movies like
God.
that. It's interesting though, at the beginning they were like the forces of Texas and California, and the first thing that pops into my mind is Texas and California would never get together to go against the government. I find this very weird. Yeah. So I don't know what they were insinuating there, but okay. Texas, I can see. But
God, that's again, this feels like, what's the word? The predictive programming. That's what this feels like.
Yeah, it's predictive programming.
Why are all these coming out right now?
Yeah, it is a little bit weird that there's a lot of these coming out right now. Yeah. And that one took a couple months to make, obviously. So they started making that, probably 6 months ago? It's kind of weird.
Oh my gosh.
Kind of
super
weird.
creepy. Stuart the Brit, Stuart, maybe he's going to clarify. Stuart the Brit says, "Miladies, my parent and forefathers told to read Twain and Washington because of American genius. It's sad to us, apart from Reagan, and you don't yet it, my lord, my lord."
I love Mark Twain.
Same. Still not really understanding where your head is right now, Stuart. I'm just not clicking with you.
I don't think kids read enough of that stuff anymore either in school. I was telling my daughter that. I'm like, I need to put you on a reading program. Like, you need to read that. You need to read like Vonnegut. You need to read all sorts of things that they don't make you read in school.
Well, there was a fantastic Patrick Bet David little clip that I saw floating around about reading and getting kids to read. And it makes me want to rewind Jackson's entire childhood and use this method, because what he said was he never gives gifts to his kids. If his kids want something, he says that'll cost you 10 books. You got to read 10 books in order to get that gift.
I love that. Yeah.
It's such a great idea. Such a great idea. And so ultimately it's up to them. You know, the more they read, the more they can earn. Right. And so it's just fantastic. I love that too.
Yeah. I thought about doing like a book, like you read a book and I'll give you something. It's funny that you say that and she was like, all right, what do you want me to read? And I'm like, okay, well, I got to think of things for her to read. So, because I mean, they are just not making her read good stuff in school. She reads crap stuff.
Yeah.
It's just crappy short stories. And I'm like, you need to be reading novels, man, like good novels like I read. And I was an English major. So, I mean, I was interested in that kind of stuff, but they just don't get them excited about reading in school and good stuff. You know, we read the classics, you know, like she's not even read Lord of the Flies yet. What the hell is that? You need to read Lord of the Flies.
I'm trying to think of when that was. That was a junior high book, I think.
Yeah, and Catcher in the Rye. She's not read that yet. Like,
oh my gosh.
Right. It's not okay. Like schools they're doing a disservice to kids by not making them read all that stuff. So I will be forcing her to do that pretty soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get a little bit funny for a second, because Ryan Long, who's a comedian, if you don't follow him, you should. He's hilarious. He is acting out a skit where he plays a doctor treating a patient who wants like a gajillionth booster. And so I love how non-woke Ryan Long is. And he lays on all the non-wokeness in this, completely minimizing and humiliating the patient. Here it is.
So you're here for booster number 5. Let's just take the tampon out and we'll get started. What? And real quick, if you've been having any trouble when you're sitting down to pee.
Should I not get this or something?
No, you're right. That time of year, also potentially that time of month on your end, little cranky. By the way, was that your partner waiting outside?
Yeah, that's my girlfriend. She's getting one next.
Gotcha. I'll have someone let her know that her girlfriend will be done momentarily. And just a quick note, if her arms are sore from the shot, she might want to take a day off picking you up and holding you against the wall during intercourse with your legs wrapped around her.
Hey man, what's your problem? I'm just getting it because it was recommended.
A lady can never be too safe. Also, you might want to wait a little bit before eating. Have you made arrangements at the soy joint? Maybe take your food to go, munch it down after.
Can we just do this, please?
In all seriousness, though, there is a side effect, and I don't mean your tea. That will remain low.
Look, is there actually a side effect?
Nothing crazy, but you might notice when you step up to the tee with your bat in your co-ed league, you'll likely see some of the outfielders moving in. Now, it's nothing to worry about, and it shouldn't affect your ability to run the bases and heels.
All right, is there another doctor I can see?
Yeah, I'm not a doctor, just a volunteer. Community service, actually, big misunderstanding, but let's unbunch the panties, take the purse off, and pull out one of those pipe cleaners.
Just to be clear, I'm still getting the sticker, right? I'm going to need that.
That is fantastic and all true.
Oh my God.
All very, very
love
true.
That. Love it. All right. It's time for your double D's.
All right. The first one is we probably can't play the music because
that's right.
God, I hate copyright. It just pisses me off because it was set to Casey's Boogie Shoes, Casey and the Sunshine Band's Boogie Shoes, which is absolutely perfect for this. It's a dog getting his prosthetic legs, you guys. So great. I thought that was really sweet. So I love that. It's cool what they can do, right? And then this is exactly what would happen to me because everybody does these like elaborate proposals now. My husband proposed to me like in a car, but honestly, like people go to such great lengths. And this is what would happen to me if my husband actually went to great lengths to propose to me. This is what would happen. That's what would happen. And I would immediately adopt that cat. Because that cat is awesome in every way. Anyways, that was your double dose of double D's. That was it.
That cat was so curious.
I love that cat. That cat knows how to photobomb. Mm-hmm.
Meg Prescott, thank you. Meg says, I think Stewart is commenting on the sadness of how woke racist policies are destroying classics that have been admired by everyone worldwide. Well, if that's what he's saying, then I am completely in agreement with him. Thank you for translating Stewart to English. I love you, Stewart. All right, let's get to some MyPillow talks. We do have cats, and I know you're going to be excited about these cats.
I don't have them, but
I don't know. This cat is very, very clever. I don't know what it's after, but look at this. Look at the foot. I mean, when a cat can get into your cupboards and take stuff out.
Oh my God, he's got the Funyuns. It's the Funyuns. That's what he's got. Those are fun. I know that bag because we have Funyuns in this house. We're a Funyun family, and that's exactly what they are. Smart cat.
You know how I think you were kind of late. You were like yesterday years old, I think, when you discovered that cats make that sound when they see birds out the window, where they go, ek, 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 ek,
Yeah,
ek.
I don't know anything about cats. I mean, I'm learning everything. Yeah.
Well, this is a total montage of cats doing that sound. So I thought that you would really, really like it.
Look at them together. What in the world?
They do that at birds all the time.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
He's dreaming of birds.
I know. He's dreaming.
That is so cute. I've got to get a cat. See, this is what happened though. Coda would see that and immediately attack him. What? It's a silent one.
It's a silent ek, 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 ek.
It's a silent. It's so cute. Oh my God. I want that gray one. Oh my
Isn't that
God,
pretty?
it's gorgeous. Yeah. And they only do it to
It
birds?
turned into a yawn. Yeah, they do it. Sometimes squirrels too.
What is that?
I don't know. It's just their thing. But they do it all the time. All cats do it. I've never known a cat to not do it.
I like that one gray one that was like all gray.
Mm-hmm.
The cool cat.
Anyway, I thought you would like it because they do.
Yeah,
they do
I
that.
really do. It's super cute.
Mm-hmm. But we also have dogs, and before we get to dogs, we have to. I have to show people what it's going to look like when I move to South Carolina. This will be me every day, although Ron disagrees. This is me.
Oh my God! I'm brushing the deer. I think you should totally do that.
You got to make her pretty. Got to make her pretty for the wild. Isn't that sweet?
It's so sweet. She probably. I mean, some of them will probably let you. Look at her put the food out there. She's got the food. You're not supposed to do that though, right?
I know. And the neighbors, I already know
so
that they're
pissed.
super, super mad about it. They're like, do not even try to feed the deer because then they eat all of their plants.
Yeah.
So I've been given strict instructions, but man, do I want to break those rules.
Her name is Buttons.
Isn't she so pretty?
She's very pretty. Yeah, she is. She likes the brushing. My cows like that. They do like the brushing.
It feels great. Who doesn't love to be brushed?
Everybody likes their hair brushed. Yeah.
Speaking of sounds that cats and dogs make, dogs sometimes, and I know my girls do this, especially if they're sleeping, and then I go to hug them and they go, that like dog purr, essentially.
Right.
I love that sound. And here's a German Shepherd doing it.
Oh my gosh, Cash used to do that so great. Cash was the best at that. He would growl like a lion.
Oh, it's the greatest sound.
It is so great. The greatest.
So cute. Love it.
Best. Absolute best.
Buford, the dog, is supposed to be an emotional therapy dog and is not doing well at his job right now.
Swear in place. Buford, you listening? Now get this. That's when the subcommittee had to reallocate the funds and then swear in place. Buford.
Oh my
Buford,
God.
you listening? Now get this. That's when the subcommittee had to reallocate the funds.
That's how I felt in like every corporate meeting I ever attended. Every single one.
I know, so much like that. And we're going to round it off with Casper. Casper is back with some Christmas caroling.
Love it.
You better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why.
Yeah, Santa Claus. He's coming to town. He just wanted to tell you.
He's coming to
He's
town.
coming to town, you guys.
Also, I have a couple of presents, so don't get the dog just yet.
I won't get
Let's bring
Astrid
it in
yet.
first.
Okay, we're gonna bring it in. We're gonna bring it in
first.
Oh my gosh, you guys, bringing it in.
I have so first of all, from Kim Poole not only sent me more of my favorite candy bar,
the best,
but she also sent Hershey's Hugs.
Oh my God,
which I also love. She sent a gift card because it's God's chicken.
Because God's chicken, yes.
Mm-hmm. And in this adorable little pouch,
how cute is that?
She sent this ornament that says, "Just a girl who loves otters."
Oh my
And
God.
then there's an otter on the back that has my name on it.
How cute is that? Oh my God, I love ornaments. I love ornaments.
I just love this little pouch. I love everything about this so much. Thank you, Kim.
So great.
And then remember how you got the beaded painting thing the other day?
Yeah.
I got one too. It's from Mary Johnson. Mary made this.
Mary, God, you're so talented.
Look at that.
Once upon a time, there was a girl who really loved raccoons. That was me. The end. Oh my God. Mary, you are so talented.
Oh
like
my God. Imagine how long that took.
Now that we know that those are individual beads that you have to put on, that is
oh my gosh.
remarkable. You guys
That's some
are
talent
amazing.
right there.
I can't do crap. I cannot do anything. I am
Same.
so inadequate. Seriously. For real.
You're putting us to shame. Thank you
I know,
so
right?
much, Kim and Mary. I love everything.
Yeah, those
you guys
are
are so
those are
nice.
great. I'm gonna go get Astrid. Hold on.
Okay, and I'll embiggen. I will embiggen so that we can get the full Astrid experience. We need to see the flapularity coming at us. Is she coming?
Here's the
There
girl.
she
You want to you missed to give him slaps, right? You gotta slap. You gotta flap. 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 There it is. There's the flap. I knew that you would need to flap. There it is. Everybody's waiting for your flap.
And it
You
was
say
a
goodbye to everybody.
slimeless.
Oh, it was
flap.
a slimeless flap. I know. So many flaps. You say goodbye to everybody. Everybody have a great, it's Thursday today, right?
Yes.
A wonderful Thursday, everybody. A wonderful Thursday, and we will talk to you tomorrow.
Bye.